Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to Pulaski County Fiscal Court. Last week I introduced Keegan Harris, a new employee with the Commonwealth Journal. It's going to be working with our court meetings. Well, he's back again today. We didn't scare him off. So I'm going to put him on the spot and ask him if he'd open us up in the Pledge of Allegiance. If you all please stand, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Go ahead and call the meeting to order. First item on our agenda is the approval of our minutes from our previous meeting, of which you all have received a copy. What would be your pleasure with those?
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion by Ranshaw and a second by Strunk. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Next item on the agenda is our old business. We had a first reading of our administrative code at the last court meeting. There have been a couple additions to that administrative code in this second reading, but you all have received a copy of the administrative code. So unless you all have any questions or anything, I would entertain a motion to accept the administrative code changes.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Strunk. I think I heard Ranshaw first. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, and in that admin code also was a salary schedule. We'd need a motion to accept the updated salary schedule.
Motion. Second.
A motion by Strunk and a second by Wilson. Do you have any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? That motion carries. And then with those changes, we'd also would need a motion to bring employees equal to the updated salary schedule to be effective next pay period with no retroactive pay.
Motion. That's just the under 2-year-old. Second.
Okay. We have a motion by Strunk, second by Wilson. We have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Would you pass that down to Alicia so she can get the wording on that motion? That's pretty lengthy. Next then, not on your agenda, but she's called and asked if she could present to the court. Of course she can. We're going to invite Charlotte Kenney from the library to talk about her tax rates for the year.
Thank you for letting me come today. I gave everyone a copy of the tax rate. The compensating rate is 6.4, which the library board did agree to take that. That's actually down from 6.6 that we had last year.
We'd like to see them dropping. That's a good sign.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We don't have to vote on that, but we will let the record show in the minutes that, we do accept this report from the library board and for the benefit of the public. The fiscal court does not set your rates. The library board sets those rates. They are a taxing district, so we just accept those as minutes of our court meeting. So thank you for what you're doing. Right, we got some new business to look at, and this is the kind of thing I enjoy doing. We are blessed with greatness in our presence today. We've had this young man in our court before, John Paul Vaught. Most of you know him as JP. He's a outstanding athlete that's graduated from Southwestern High School, and we recognized him once before with the Pulaski County Colonel. But since then, he's decided that wasn't enough, so he's been working. And let me just kind of brag on him. He set all kinds of records as a high school student. Set a lot of school records, state records. He was on a championship football team as well. Set a lot of records on the football team there. Outstanding performance. Then he goes to college, and he's named the college athlete of the year, I think, in his division, or something to that effect. It's something big, and he's got 4 national championships as a collegiate. Man, he's really pushing it. I challenged him to a foot race in the hallway, but thankfully neither one of us had the right shoes on. But we're proud of you, JP, and we want to honor you more than what we already have. I don't think you knew about this, but what we would like to do is name Patterson Branch Road. We'd like to, in your honor, we would like to dedicate that as J.P. Vaught Run. But I want to read a resolution for the court. Says this is a resolution of Pulaski County Fiscal Court to request dedication of a county road to be named as J.P. Vaught Run in honor of John Paul Vaught. Whereas J.P. Vaught was a graduate of Southwestern Pulaski High School, whereas J.P. Vaught was an outstanding 2-sport athlete while in high school, whereas J.P. Vaught set multiple high school records during his career, and whereas J.P. Vaught has set multiple college records while competing in track at Center College, whereas J.P. Vaught has acquired 4 national championship titles while attending Center College. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Pulaski County Fiscal Court resolves to designate Patterson Branch Road as J.P. Vaught Run as a tribute to his legacy at Southwestern Pulaski High School and his legacy in college. I would entertain a motion that we do that.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion by Strump. I'm going to give this one to Wilson. Any further discussion? Any comments for JP?
I think he deserves a big round of applause.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a vote and then we'll give him applause. All in favor?
Aye.
Is there any opposed? All right, well, JP, congratulations. Next stop, Olympics, right? Yep. 2024 Olympics. Keep your eyes open. We're going to get him there. So, huh?
Yeah.
Let's get a picture of it. Yeah, we need to get you up here in the middle. Shake your hand. Finally accomplished.
And not an easy school to be at either,
Where you want me?
academically.
Everybody in?
Unless she wants that band.
No.
This seems so bad, you want that blue.
All right, thank you all for that. Next item we have then is our department reports. We have the road work request. I don't know if I saw a speed limit change on those. Any of y'all have one? Entertain the road work request as a whole then.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion by Wilson, second by Ranshaw. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Next then will be 911 have a personnel request. This is our new interim director, Beverly Haynes, by the way, for the public, if you've not met Beverly yet.
Thank you. Only thing I've got this morning is I'm going to request to advertise for full-time employment. One position. I've got one retiring September 1st.
Motion.
Second. Motion by Ranshaw, second by Turpin. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Is there any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beverly. Next, then we've got our solid waste. I guess Danny has a couple things to ask permission for.
We've got two properties on the ordinance 930.1 that need to be put on our mowing list. That would be first 405 Cumberland Drive.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion by Strunk and a second by Turpin. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Okay. that
And
one
the
carries.
second property is 640 Meadow Drive.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ranshaw, second by Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
Who seconded that?
Strunk. Strunk seconded.
That would be you.
That's all I have, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Danny.
You did.
Okay.
And we have Mr. Rod Dick here from the jail to present the policy manual.
Losing it.
Judge, we come before you this morning as you all have had the opportunity to see, there was some policy changes we need to make. They were outlined. They are very general, and basically the only policy change, with the exception of some housekeeping things, was an addition of a COVID policy. And if there's no questions, we would ask that be passed.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Ranshaw and a second by Turpin. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Have one other thing I brought over this morning, from the totals of, as far as what has went on with our inmate work program since January to the end of June. And as you can see, there was 77 cemeteries that were cleaned up in Pulaski County. There is the mowing crews, there's some spots across the city, county, whatever, that they're mowing 12 spots every week. There's 4 that are getting mowed bi-weekly. The hours on that's almost 2,000. And then, Mark, I know this is of interest to you, but trash pickup, there was, 60 tons. And, that covered 573 miles. Then another thing, Mike Strunk, that you and I have talked about is with the dumps. They've cleaned up 55 dumps. The tires, there's 290, Danny. I'm sure that you get tired of seeing them pull in over there every day. And then the thing that I guess needs to be alarming to all of us is the amount of needles that they're picking up. I can remember when they first started, Jason, they were using those little Sharps containers. Now they're using some of the, I guess, like you get in a doctor's office. It's amazing. And if you took the total on the amount of hours that has been contributed on that program, there was 3,168 hours. And, we kind of are using an hourly rate of $10 an hour. That's $31,680 that I call sweat equity dollars that was contributed back to the citizens of Pulaski County.
Awesome. We appreciate you. It's what the jail and the inmates do over there for our county.
Well, and I'll say this, if, we try to be a good neighbor, and if there's anything we can do, we certainly want to do that. And I owe you and Jason a little bit of an apology. I guess last Tuesday we had a meeting and I had a senior moment. I forgot about it. For that, thank y'all.
Rod, I want to thank you for the work you're doing. I just want to point out, I want to beg and plead with our public. The numbers he just gave us, 60 tons of trash that they've picked up. You do the math on that, and we've got 65,000 people in our county. That means, on average, every one of us is throwing almost 2 pounds of trash down.
In 6 months.
6 months.
Well,
Folks,
that's.
And I didn't realize some people don't litter at all, but some people are throwing a lot of trash down.
Well, that's something that, a lot of credit needs to go to the jailer on that. I mean, he is committed to that inmate work program, and that's something that, hopefully is only gonna get better.
I would like the people of Pulaski County, and I know we get a lot of visitors here that are not from here, but I would like us all to have more pride, in our county. It gets into our streams and our lakes, and folks were better than that. And I realize, like I said, it's not all Pulaski Countyans doing it, but, let's all try a little harder. Instead of throwing something out the window, let's just make it to the next trash can and dispose of it properly.
I mean, I appreciate what you guys are doing. You said how many roads did you clean up? 500 and something?
There's 573 road miles.
Well, and that's a drop in the bucket compared to the fact that we got 2,500 miles of roads in this county.
Well, it is, but,
And it's
then
hard for you to get to every road.
you can't do it. And I
You
mean,
can't
there's
do it.
some of them that, you could go back and probably every other day.
Yeah.
I mean, but they try to get around, and especially if there's some problem spots or something, they try to really stay up on those. And, a lot of credit, as I say every time that I address you folks, there's some fine people over there. They do a great job, and it's the work detail program is just, it just continues to grow, and that's exactly what we want it to do.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Next then be a animal shelter. I think Adam's got personnel requests.
Good morning. I'd like to ask permission to hire Jordan Chapman, and it'd be animal control and skilled labor.
It'll be a transfer.
Oh, and it'd be a lateral transfer. Right now, I think he's part-time at solid waste, and Danny and I spoke. He's going to transfer over tomorrow as part-time, and then at the beginning of the new pay period, we'll move him to full-time.
We had a position over.
Yes, sir. I asked last court meeting, and we've took in 906 dogs since January 1st. So that's the reason I had to kind of, we're moving pretty quickly.
Entertain a motion then to Jordan Chapman to be animal control. A motion by Strunk, second by Wilson. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Adam.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Next then will be our treasurer's report. A few items Joan has to present.
Yes, excuse me. The first item I have is the bill list for the month of August.
We've been given a copy of the bill list. Any questions?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Wilson and second by Strunk to approve the bill list as presented. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
Aye.
Split vote. Take a roll call, please.
Turpin,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Wilden,
Yes.
Ranshaw,
No.
Strunk.
Yes.
Motion carries in.
The next item I have is the bank reconciliation for the month of July, first month of the new year.
I've got a copy of the bank reconciliation. What would be your pleasure?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Ranshaw and a second by Turpin. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next item I have are fund transfers. I have 3 fund transfers. They're all from the general fund. All of these denote the occupational tax disbursements to the various funds as called for in our budget. The first one is to 911, and it's for $412,500. The second one is to the jail from the general fund for $201,563. And the last one is to the road fund for $412,500.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion by Strunk, second by Wilson. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
I have one other item that is not on the bill list, or not, sorry, not on the agenda. Two purchase requisition forms came in last week to our office, and they were for SRT. And they were for, from what I gathered, equipping a vehicle, or two different vehicles. One was the Sprinter and one was the command truck. But the problem with them is it came to my attention that these items had already been purchased and had already been installed before a purchase order was requested. And that is not how we do business, especially to the tune of $37,000. So Josh, as the EM director, he didn't sign those, and I won't sign them either because it was the not proper procedure. So I would like to know what you all choose to do with these purchases.
The state has rules, and one of those rules is you must get a purchase agreement before we can cut a check. The county can cut a check. The process has always been known, it's always been out there, and it wasn't done. The said entity knows the process, and I just don't believe that it should be paid by the county, because all it's going to do is hurt us in our audits, you as a treasurer, Steve as a county judge, because he has to sign off on all those. So in my opinion, I mean, as of right now, this moment, my opinion is that we shouldn't pay it as a county. I mean, they do have their own other funds that they can pay it out of. So, I mean.
If you'd like to come up, Chief.
Thank you all. Through this, and Joan, I agree with you on part of what you're saying.
Okay.
But Mark, first of all, this is from the insurance on these vehicles.
Okay, but we still have a process that's.
Oh, I understand. No, I do. No, I understand that. But through this, I don't word this word because I don't want to cause an issue. We've done through this whole process, Joan, and I realize on the POs now, you said it was well, through all of this, this has occurred before, through this rebuild. And I wasn't aware that it per se had to be got a PO before they could be paid. I mean, I knew it had to be before you could pay the bill, but it was my understanding once we purchased something or we turned around and bought something or contracted out to have something fixed, that we got the PO once I got a total on it, and that's what we did here. Neither one of those vehicles is completely, the only thing that's been done is the van rack and top for the satellite system for the command truck. After talking to Josh this week, because it was not brought up to me, I had no idea there was an issue until I talked to Josh. I didn't get a phone call from you.
I talked to Josh about it, that's why
I
you
know,
didn't
but
get a
no
phone
one
call
called
from
and
me.
asked me anything. And guys, we want to work with Fiscal. I think SRT's shown that we're not trying to get anything that we're just trying to become whole. I understand that. But no one called and asked me anything. And guys, we want to work with Fiscal. I think SRT's shown that we're not trying to get anything that we're just trying to become whole. I don't deal with the legalities like you do, and I understand that.
But Doug, you and I went over this when we first started the whole insurance process, because you recall, and I talked to Martin, I talked to the auditors, I replied of how our system works. So you should have been aware that purchase orders had to be acquired before anything.
I didn't know it was before, and Joe, if I did it, I missed it, okay? But I know now 100%. So my thought was, as long as it's under bid, and that is on two separate trucks, and I know that's what caused the confusion, the vendor was supposed to put on there, this was two separate trucks.
And that wasn't the issue.
Yeah.
The issue was that it was two,
Right.
and
But some of our other things on the smaller amounts have been done the same way. And now that I know, it's what I talked to Josh about, and he can say the same thing. Everything now, before I even commit to anything, we will get a PO for. Those are the two largest items we had left. That's the biggest ones. So this,
I got a question.
yes, sir,
How long you been doing SRT as the chief?
23 years,
As the chief?
23 years.
And how long have you submitted bills to this court?
Until this insurance thing come in, there was no bills that went through court except when we did the original buying. There may have been a thing or two.
very few.
But we always, honestly, the fire coordinator took care of all that. We didn't do it. It went through them. So, Mark, there's been very few. What we have here is a problem, and I will take my lick for it too in communication. I've emailed Joan several times. Sometimes I get a reply back the majority of the time. Sometimes I've asked questions I haven't gotten back. So we know now, and these are legitimate purchases to rebuild us to the point of where we are. Now, if we need to back off and redo the PO system on those, I'm happy to do whatever we need to do to make it right.
Too late. It's too late.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
If we don't have that PO before the bill comes in, then the auditors will kill us on the audit. And everybody knows, people's been complaining about the audit.
I understand that, Mark.
So now this is gonna end up as a result on our audit if we pay this bill out.
Well, the only thing I can do is say, as the chief of emergency services organization, I'm a first responder, not a treasurer, and you're doing what you gotta do. But at the same time, I feel like trying to pull $30-something thousand from an organization that's only trying to do the right thing, there has to be a workaround. And I would ask this court to do that. I have been, as you asked, Mark, I've been chief 23 years at SRT. I have never had to deal with as much stress and things to rebuild an organization as I have this time, ever. You talk about making mistakes, and I wasn't gonna bring this up, but since I will. For some reason or another, this administration, according to my architect, did not sign the paperwork in time to get my steel in. I found out this week that delayed my reconstruction by 7 weeks because my contractor pulled off. And I think, according to the contractor that I saw, he said he put the court on notice of that. So we all make mistakes. I'm not blaming it on anyone. I made a mistake. But I'm asking you for everything that SRT's done. And Mark, I realize me and you differ on a lot of political opinions. But I don't think that my organization should be done this. There has to be a workaround because of a mistake I made. I'm not blaming it on you all. I'm taking the lick for it. But I'm asking that those are for public safety of Pulaski County citizens. And they're too needed. Without one of those going up, when 911 went down last week due to the fact of that cable line being cut, if I had one of those vehicles fixed, we could have probably resolved that issue in about 15 minutes. So the longer we drag this out, the worse it's hurting the citizens. So the only thing I can ask to say is, Joan, I understand the policy 100% now, and you will no longer have a problem with them. but I'm asking the court to try to work with me and let me get my organization back to the place that it was a year and a half ago. I still don't have a building, but we're still running every day.
Well, here's my problem. I strive to make sure that this county follows the rules associated with the state.
I understand.
And it's hard for me to vote on something that goes against those rules. And that's just, I mean, that's what I do. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but it was explained to you early on what had to be done. Am I right?
I will differ with that, but we didn't go into a great lot of detail. But as I said, now that I look back on it,
got the
John, I
email.
understand that.
So now you're blaming it on,
No, no.
oh, okay.
Let me kind
That was not what I
of
said.
tell you the way I'm looking at it, you know, for what it's worth. I mean, if you would have followed proper protocol, you would have probably been given permission to go forward with the
I
purchase.
understand that, Judge.
So it's a needed purchase. It's a matter of public safety. We all know that. It is a violation of the state's procurement laws that they request that we get a purchase order for everything. And have we done it in the past? Yes, certainly it's been done in the past by mistake. And it's always up to the magistrates at that point to vote whether to pay it, even though there's a mistake. Now, I'll just say this, it's gonna fall on the county judge executive. It's not gonna fall on them. Nobody ever blames the magistrates for a bad audit, that I know of. So I'm on the way out. I would say for public safety, let's go ahead and pay this as a court, but you all ultimately will vote on that. That's my 2 cents.
And I appreciate the court's understanding.
What was Jimmy saying?
Jimmy, what?
He was talking to his wife.
The only thing I can say is, like I said,
Should we
it's
table
not
it, talk it
gonna
over
happen
with
again.
Martin and see exactly how we need to?
If you all want to make that motion, you can.
I don't know.
I think we ought to at least wait 2 weeks and get with Martin, and find out.
Well, I hate not to pay it, but I know we need to do things the right way. I mean, they definitely need them trucks up and going, in my opinion.
Is there any chance that they could uninstall what they've done and then?
It
put
doesn't
through?
alleviate.
No.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bad audit either way you go.
I mean, it's gonna take the hit regardless, but
Well, as I said, as chief, I will apologize for what happened, and the person at the top of the chain is the one that takes responsibility, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, let's,
How about we do this?
let's
Let's
put
just
it off for
table
2
this for
weeks.
2 weeks and then come back. and-
that's why I asked your all's
Motion?
opinion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion. We table it for 2 weeks to give.
second.
Motion by Ranshaw and a second by Strunk. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Thank y'all for
motion
listening.
carries.
I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Chief.
That's all I had. Thank you, gentlemen.
We don't have any citizens' comments that have requested to speak today, so with no further business, unless y'all have something, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Wilson, a
Oh,
second by
hang on,
Ranshaw.
hang on. Sorry.
Too late.
No, you didn't.
All in favor?
No, I did have one other thing.
We got a motion and a second to adjourn already.
Yeah, but you still have comment section.
Any
Off the
discussion?
record, yeah.
Yeah, it's got-
The park issue with the beach. Do we have an update on that at all?
No, not yet,
Okay.
not yet. We're working on it.
The one thing I wanted is, I mean, we've got a problem with the city putting leachate into the lake and stuff like that, and I'm afraid,
Not related. I don't think it flows the other direction.
I'm just afraid that with this issue and that issue, we're losing we could be losing our tourism dollars
Yeah.
from loss of tourism.
I can't
because
control
of
the
these-
leachate situation. I can't control the lake. It's not treated, Mark. It's a big body of water. If you go take your family to the ocean, you swim at risk. If you go play in the creek, fishing in the creek, you're taking a risk. It's not a treated body of water, and we are gonna test the beach, to make sure that there's nothing there that's causing this that we could prevent. I would say it's a number of things. I would say we had a period of drought, where there was no rain and things weren't being washed off the area. I would say we've got an overpopulation of geese at Pulaski County Park that contributes a lot of feces to the area. I would say if I was a parent, I wouldn't bury my kid in that, but
Should we be,
people should know not to do that. I mean, it's not a good situation when you've got all that feces down there, so.
should we be internet starting to think about not having the beach?
We're gonna weigh all the
We're
options.
putting our citizens at risk.
I agree with you, and we're gonna weigh those options. It's something that, you all, we as a court voted to do and wanted to do. It's something that the Chamber of Commerce had a lot of support and wanted it done. They raised a lot of money to do it, so we, provided it, and it's been very popular. But yes, it is a concern, and we are gonna get it tested and go from there, whether we wanna comply with trying to keep it regularly tested and offer it as a public beach. That's gonna be a decision we have to make.
That's the same reason they closed the beach down in Burnside down too. Water was stagnant, they were saying, and had diseases in it
So it's,
back in the 80s.
the bottom line, though, the health department
That's the
concurs
same
and
reason,
the
too.
Corps of Engineers concurs. When you go into an untreated body of water, there's inherent risk to do that. And so that's what you're facing. And we can't treat it. We can't put chlorine on the beach. Can't put chlorine in the lake. So we'll have to decide that. We'll get it tested. And if there is something there that we can control, we'll try to do that. But until then, the beach is closed, and we've only got another 3 weeks left of beach season anyway, so we probably won't be reopened this season.
Well, thank
That
you.
answer your questions?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm just concerned about tourism and stuff like that,
okay. Me too,
and
definitely,
the health of our citizens.
absolutely. Okay, so we've got a motion and a second to adjourn. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.